Hi everyone, welcome to your first flipped learning video of the 2018-2019 school year. So this video will be review for some of you and it might be new for others, but I need you to watch it. After you're finished, go ahead and complete the Google questionnaire that goes along with this and be sure to click Mark as Done in your Google Classroom account. The topic of this video is simple. Today we're going to be discussing seventh chords. To do this, we're going to first review scales and chords, and then we're going to discuss two things. First, how to construct a dominant seventh chord, which is quite common in jazz, and I want to point out the difference between major and dominant sevenths. Let's go ahead and begin. To help me out, I got a C scale up here. Now this is pretty simple. C, D, E, F, G, A, B, C. Think of this as concert pitch, so trumpet, sax players, you might have to transpose. For this, you might be playing D, E, F sharp, G, and so on. But we're going to use a simple C scale. If I number these notes, start with number 1 right here at the beginning, and keep going. So I have 2, E is 3, F is 4, G is 5, A is 6, B is 7, and the C would be 8. It's also the same as 1 because we've already numbered a C. We'll keep it going for now. Okay, we'll just say 8. In constructing chords, I need 3 notes. Now, traditional chords, major chords, minor chords, perhaps you've heard of diminished or augmented chords, only use 3 notes. They use the first note, the third note, and the fifth note of a scale. And if you combine these, you get a nice happy sound. Okay, for example, if I walk over to the piano here, and if I find C, the third note, E, and G, I get a nice happy sound. Jazz gets its sound because jazz chords use the 7th note as well. So, how do we make these chords? Well, it's important that you know this since a lot of our classwork revolves around reading chord symbols, writing chords in our composition, and making sure we can do improv. Let's look at this a little bit farther. Let's go back to our scale. C, which is 1. D, 2. E, 3. F, 4. G, 5. A, 6. B, 7, and we'll call our next C 8. I'm going to start out making a regular chord. This is a major scale, so if I take the first, third, and fifth note, it's going to be a major chord. Here's the first note again. Here's the third note. Here's the fifth note. Okay, 1, 3, 5. As I mentioned on the piano, as you heard, jazz is always going to use a 7th note in there. The 7th gives jazz its unique classic sound more than any other note. So we go over and we get the 7th note of the scale, which is a B. Here we have a major 7th chord. The scale's in major, and we've used the 1, the 3, the 5, and the 7. Because we had the 7, we're going to call it by its 7th note. When you hear somebody ask for a major 7th chord, or when you see this key symbol, C, Maj 7, it wants you to play a C major 7th chord. That's where, again, you just take the first, third, fifth, and 7th note and you got it. However, that's not the most common chord in jazz, and when people say 7th chords in jazz, this isn't what they're talking about. In a lot of jazz, they do what's called dominant chords. Dominant is when you take a 7th chord, but then you lower the 7th note by a half step. So, coming over here, we would, instead of calling this a B natural, we would say it's a B flat. If we look over here, that would change our 7th note from a B natural to a B flat. It gives it a much more jazzy sound. This chord, however, would be written simply as C7. C7 refers to this dominant chord where you built by using the 1, 3, 5, and 7, but you lowered the 7 to a half step. Now, this works with any scale. For example, I'm going to use this green marker here, and we're going to do this again, in concert F. Here's the concert F scale. F, G, A, B flat, C, D, E, and F. Let's number these out. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and the next F is 8. All right, let's build our chord. Our basic F major chord is going to use the 1, the F, the 3, our A, and the 5, our C. 1, 3, 5. To give it that jazz sound, we want to pull the 7th note down, which is our E. Right there, just by pulling the 1, the 3, the 5, and the 7, we've built an F major 7 chord. To give it even more of a jazz sound, we're going to lower the 7th note a half step. So our E becomes an E flat. Now, with an F, A, C, E flat, we've created a dominant 7th chord, also known as F7. So again, when you're reading a chart and you see F7 as a chord symbol or as a key for a solo section, and it says F7, it wants you to play the 1st, 3rd, 5th, or 7th notes of the F scale, but you have to lower the 7th note. That's very important. Let's go back over the piano for a second and give it a quick listen. First, let's use our example that was in C major. C major scale. C major chord. C major 7th chord using the 7th note of that scale. C dominant 7 where I lower that. Instead of playing the B natural with my pinky here, I'm going to use my ring finger and hit the B flat. You can already hear it's a much stronger jazz sound. Rhythm section players will probably want to move the notes around, the voicings, and make it sound even more natural. Let's do it again in F major. Here it is in F major.